this? Theory says consciousness created the universe. What if the story you've been told about the universe is completely backwards? We learned that 13.8 billion years ago, there was a Big Bang, a searing flash of energy in the void that slowly, over countless millennia, cooled into galaxies, stars, and planets. And on one of these planets, through some unbelievable stroke of luck, life emerged. In this story, consciousness, you, me, our ability to think and feel, is just a recent, almost accidental blip in a long, indifferent cosmic timeline. But what if that's putting the cart before the horse? What if the Big Bang wasn't the real beginning? What if I told you the universe, in all its mind-boggling scale, only exists because you're here to observe it? This isn't a tagline for a movie. It's the core of a provocative idea called biocentrism, and it suggests that your consciousness isn't just a product of the universe. It's the architect. The idea proposes that before life and awareness, concepts like space, time, and even matter didn't really exist in any meaningful way. It argues that we're not just living in the universe. We are the reason it's here. Section 1. The architect of biocentrism. So, who's the mind behind this wild idea? Meet Dr. Robert Lanza. Lanza is a heavy hitter in the world of science, a renowned stem cell pioneer who was named one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people. He argues that our current model of physics has a massive blind spot. It fails to account for the one thing that lets us do physics at all: consciousness. The standard scientific view treats life as a beautiful accident, a random jumble of carbon atoms that, by sheer chance, figured out how to replicate. But Lanza finds this explanation unlikely. He points out that the universe seems suspiciously perfect for life. Tweak the strength of gravity by a hair, or alter the charge of an electron just a tiny bit, and the universe as we know it would be impossible. Stars wouldn't form. Atoms would disintegrate. Life would be dead on arrival. Now, physicists have a way of explaining this called the anthropic principle, which basically says, of course the universe is perfect for us. If it weren't, we wouldn't be around to notice. Lanza sees that as a bit of a cop-out. He offers a much bolder answer. The universe isn't fine-tuned for life. Instead, life and consciousness are what fine-tune the universe. They are the fundamental principles that reality itself grows out of. Section 2. The quantum rabbit hole. This might sound like pure philosophy, but Lanza claims the clues are hidden in our most successful and weirdest scientific theory, quantum mechanics. And it all comes down to one famous experiment that completely shatters our common sense view of reality, the double-slit experiment. Here's the gist. You shoot particles, like electrons, at a wall with two slits in it. Behind the wall is a screen that shows where they land. If you close one slit, the electrons act like tiny baseballs, hitting the screen in a single band right behind the open slit. Simple enough. But this is where it gets bizarre. When you shoot both slits, the electrons don't just make two bands. They create an interference pattern, a series of many bands, as if a wave passed through both slits at once and interfered with itself. This suggests each single electron is somehow going through both slits simultaneously, existing only as a wave of possibilities. But the real kicker is what happens when you try to watch. If you place a tiny detector at the slits to see which path an electron actually takes, the interference pattern vanishes. Poof. Gone. The moment they're observed, the electrons snap out of their wavy state of possibility and act like normal particles again, creating two distinct bands. This is the famous observer effect. The simple act of observation seems to force an uncertain possibility to collapse into a single, concrete reality. So, this begs a huge question. What counts as an observer? A scientist? A camera? A squirrel? This is where biocentrism makes its biggest and most controversial leap. Section 3. Consciousness, the ultimate observer. While most physicists today will tell you that any interaction with the environment can cause this collapse, conscious or not, some of the founders of quantum theory weren't so sure. The legendary physicist John Wheeler, a colleague of Einstein, floated an idea he called the participatory anthropic principle. He playfully suggested that the universe comes into being through the participation of those who observe it. In his view, we aren't just watching a cosmic movie that was filmed billions of years ago. We're actively shaping the plot as we watch. An even more extreme version of this is the von Neumann-Wigner interpretation, which explicitly proposes that it's the consciousness of the observer that's needed to collapse that wave of possibilities into a single reality. According to this fringe view, a particle remains a ghost of all possible outcomes until a conscious mind perceives it, locking it into place. Reality, in this sense, isn't a fixed, external thing. It's a dance between possibility and a conscious mind. And this controversial idea that a conscious mind is the key is the bedrock of biocentrism. Lanza argues that we aren't just measuring the world. Our minds are creating it with every glance. Without a conscious observer, the universe is just a fog of quantum probabilities, with no definite shape, no past, and no future. Your awareness is what turns that potential into the actual world you see. Section 4. Space and time are all in your head. If you even begin to entertain that idea, the consequences are mind-bending. Take space and time. We feel them as real, external things. Space is the giant, empty box that holds everything, and time is the river pulling us forward. But biocentrism says this is all a grand illusion. Lanza proposes that space and time aren't physical realities, but rather the operating system of our consciousness. They are the software our minds use to assemble raw, jumbled sensory data into a story that makes sense. It's like a VR headset. The game world feels huge and real, but it doesn't exist out there. It's being generated by software and rendered in your vision. Lanza argues that in the same way, our biological consciousness generates the experience of space and time. They are internal, not external. This means that outside of a mind, there's no out there and no before or after. There is only a timeless, spaceless ocean of possibility. You are not a tiny speck in a vast cosmos. The cosmos is a vast experience happening inside your mind. This idea has echoes in centuries of philosophy, from Plato's cave allegory to the philosopher George Berkeley, who famously argued that for something to exist, it must be perceived. Section 5. Life, Death, and Cosmic Meaning. This leads us to the most personal part of it all, life and death. If time is just a way our minds organize information, then our concepts of a beginning and an end start to look pretty shaky. Our lives feel like a straight line, because that's how our minds build the story, moment by moment. In this view, death isn't the end of you, but the end of your ability to string those moments together in a linear fashion. Lanza describes consciousness as something that exists outside the ordinary rules of space and time. Death, he suggests, might just be an illusion created by our time-bound perspective. How can you be extinguished if you were never just a physical body limited to one timeline? You are the observer, and the observer is a prerequisite for reality itself, not just a temporary character in it. This whole idea flips the script on cosmic loneliness. That feeling that we're a meaningless accident in a cold, empty universe. Biocentrism says the opposite is true. Your awareness is the most essential ingredient in the cosmic recipe. The universe isn't just a place that happens to allow life. It exists through life. We aren't the accident. We are the event. Section 6. A healthy dose of skepticism. Okay, let's pump the brakes for a second. As fascinating as this is, it is absolutely not accepted by mainstream science. Most scientists view biocentrism as compelling philosophy, but not as testable science. The biggest pushback is on that definition of observer. The vast majority of physicists argue that you don't need a conscious mind to collapse a quantum wave. Any interaction with the environment at all, a stray photon, a gust of air, a simple measuring device, is enough to do the job through a process called decoherence. A conscious mind, they say, isn't a necessary ingredient. Critics also point out that biocentrism feels like a huge step backward, putting humanity back at the center of everything, a belief we moved past centuries ago. They argue that its claims are currently impossible to prove or disprove, which puts it on the far fringes of scientific theory. It's a powerful story, for sure, but one that challenges the very idea of an objective reality that science is built on. Conclusion. So, what do we make of all this? We've gone from the Big Bang to the quantum rabbit hole, all to face one staggering idea: that the universe isn't something we're just born into, but something that is born through us. Is biocentrism the answer? Is your mind really painting the masterpiece of reality with every waking moment? Or is it a beautiful and creative interpretation of quantum physics that's more art than science? The honest answer is, we don't know. Science is still wrestling with the absolute mystery of what consciousness even is, let alone its role in the universe. But the idea leaves us with a question that gets to the very heart of who we are. Are we just specks of dust drifting through a pre-made cosmos? Or are we somehow the cosmos itself, waking up and experiencing itself? What's your take? Is reality a fixed, solid thing that exists without us? Or does it need a mind to bring it into focus? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We love digging through them. And if you enjoy having your brain twisted by ideas that challenge everything, hit that subscribe button and share this video to keep the conversation going.